Wow, that works.
Call this meeting to order. Please stand for the invocation by Councilperson Briggs.
Thank you, Council President. Please join me in the Our Father. Our Father.
Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil.
The pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Public comments? All speakers should have signed up in advance with the city clerk. Each speaker will please use the podium right here in front. Please state your name and address before beginning your statement. You'll be limited to 5 minutes. Please address your comments to the chair, that would be me. Council will not engage in debate with the speaker. On your first bell, you'll have 30 seconds left. Please finish it up, because after that, on the second bell, I'm going to have to stop you.
Russell Nephew.
Good evening. Russell Nephew, 323 State Street. I'm here tonight for an update from the last council meeting on the deer issue. I'd like to share some research I have done on this matter since the last council meeting. In the last 5 years, it has been well documented in various newspapers and social media that the overpopulation of deer in our city and surrounding areas is getting worse and has actually elevated to a new level of concern. Citizens, city council, city manager, DEC, and various committees have all been concerned. The city's past council has done investigations and surveys, and they concluded there was a problem and agreed that action must be taken, as you do now. Between the years 2015 and 17, the town of Amherst experienced this very similar problem of deer overpopulation. Their solution was having the DEC issue special out-of-season hunting permits, which led to reducing the deer population by 571 during this special hunt. This is just one example of a possible solution to the problem. I know your jobs can be very difficult at times, so I'd like to thank all of you for your sacrifice, support, and hard work for this city. By all of us working together, we can solve this problem. I would like to quickly address, lastly, the news media. When reporting, please get the addresses, photos, and other facts correct. Instead of making an editorial joke of a situation that occurred, just report it as it happened. I know all about First Amendment rights, but your first responsibility to your readers is to bring them an unbiased representation of the event. Jumping right into an editorial opinion gathered from second and third-hand information is unprofessional and unethical. Your quest to garner readership through your attempt at humor slid by this time, but will it lead to tragedy if the problem is ignored? Thank you.
Pat Cooper.
Hello, my name is Pat Cooper. I live at 269 State Street, and I would just like to back up what Russ just said. I was there the day the deer came after him, and he had to run and climb up on something to get away from it. And I've had this happen to me several times. I had to go into a building at an end building because the deer was coming after me. And I have a dog, so I can't just stay in the house. I have to go out. And I was a little upset when I read the article in the paper because I was the old lady peeking out the window. So anyhow, thank you.
Sorry about that.
James Thorman.
Hello. Here's here's something,
Just tell us who you are and where you live.
I'm sorry, my name is James Thorman. I've been a resident of Byron since 1992, and I retired from Verizon as an outside plant technician after 23 years. I'm in talks with some people from Washington, and I'm in talks with some people in the gun community, Federation of Sportsmen, and the joint councils to all the veterans clubs. I have an inkling that if the task force in Washington would like to use grouped resources to focus on a suicide prevention plan pointed at veterans, because there's already a focus on that in Washington as it is. The task force is set up, and I've spoke with a member who's my first point of contact, and the information that I've been talking to him about seems to be received favorably. He wants a congressional inquiry started, and I picked Senator Schumer, because the whole point of putting people together on common ground is to have the one person in state government that is anti-gun. Now the problem is that even the police people and the medical people, they all know veterans or gun community people won't opt for mental health care because of the SAFE Act and the red flag laws. But we, and when I say we, I'm talking about Suicide Prevention Coalition in the county, you know, multiple counties. We're looking for a lead county to help do the proposal to Washington. They already know. They tried to get in touch with the scope people and were told that the mental health department is not their friend, and we have nothing to talk about. Well, if there's a way we can all find common ground, it certainly would be. And so I got to thinking then, if teenagers were involved in some development, facilitation, and promotion of a suicide prevention program that's pointed at veterans, that could be a purpose that some of the kids who are healthy, wealthy, and wise, whether or not they're seeing mental health treatment plans and involved in county services, we would leave it up to whatever of those kids want to become part of a committee. And that committee is the focus of that sign that I've been talking to you about, putting it in the concourse downstairs so that people who come in the winter months can see that sign. And I have a room over at the library every third Thursday of the month. So they get in contact via email. I give them the information. If they like to come, they come. But I'm saying bring your kids with you, because the plan is to have a planning committee made up of teenagers and their parents who are privy to strategy and details and planning and want to take an active role. And I think it's very valuable if something like that were to happen. What that does is it actually puts a panel together, a committee together, asking the mental health department and the mental health association and all the providers that are contractors or whatever you have, along with the education department, having that committee being a representative of that school. You know, whatever school has this on their agenda. And I feel it's very important that all the schools have a student board, and that some of those officers would be people like student policy officer, student recognition officer, historian, web administrator, secretary, treasurer. And that is where our planning committee can be used to source candidates for a student board. we can then offer an open election in the